Have you ever felt a subtle yet profound pull towards something within you, an elusive current of intuition and emotional depth that seems to whisper truths beyond the grasp of everyday reason? This gentle but persistent presence is often what Carl Jung referred to as the anima, the feminine aspect within the psyche, a wellspring of wisdom, creativity, and compassion that transcends gender and invites a richer understanding of the self. You are connected to your feminine wisdom, a vital inner resource that, when acknowledged, nurtures your capacity for empathy, receptivity, and profound transformation. Feminine wisdom is not merely an archetype of softness or passivity, rather, it embodies a dynamic and complex array of qualities that have historically been marginalized or misunderstood in the psyche, particularly within patriarchal cultural frameworks. Jung illuminated the feminine principle as an essential, balancing force within the human psyche, necessary for psychological wholeness and growth. This principle reveals itself through intuition, emotional attunement, and the creative impulse, qualities that often elude strict rationality but are indispensable for a life imbued with meaning and depth. At the heart of Jung's exploration lies the collective unconscious, a vast and shared repository of archetypes, symbols, and primordial images that shape our inner world beyond personal experience. Among these archetypes, the anima emerges as the feminine counterpart within the male psyche, but it also exists within all individuals as an internal guide to emotional depth and relational attunement. The anima is not a fixed entity but a living, evolving presence that mirrors the soul's longing for connection, nourishment, and creative expression. Recognizing the anima within is akin to awakening a dormant aspect of yourself, a rediscovery of the emotional and intuitive faculties that may have been suppressed or neglected. This awakening invites you to journey inward, to listen attentively to the subtle language of dreams, fantasies, and feelings that the anima often uses to communicate. You are connected to your feminine wisdom when you allow these inner voices to surface without judgment, cultivating a compassionate and curious awareness of your inner landscape. Yet, the journey toward embracing the anima is not without its shadows. Often, the feminine qualities associated with the anima, vulnerability, emotionality, receptivity, have been disowned or repressed, especially in cultures that valorize masculine traits such as assertiveness and control. These disowned aspects frequently reside within the shadow self, a concept Jung used to describe the parts of our personality that we deny or hide from conscious awareness. The shadow is not merely a repository of darkness but a vital source of untapped potential and authenticity. Engaging with the shadow requires courage and honesty, as it compels you to confront the parts of yourself that have been marginalized or feared. In this process, you may discover that the anima and the shadow are intimately intertwined. The feminine wisdom you seek is often veiled beneath layers of shame, fear, or societal conditioning. By gently embracing these shadow aspects, you invite a profound integration, allowing the anima to emerge not as a fragmented or idealized figure but as a genuine, guiding presence within your psyche. It is important to realize that feminine archetypes extend far beyond the simplistic dichotomy of softness versus strength. They encompass a spectrum of expressions, from the nurturing mother and the wise crone to the fierce warrior and the enchanting muse. Each archetype carries its own unique energy and lessons, revealing the multifaceted nature of feminine wisdom. This wisdom is a wellspring of creativity, resilience, and transformative power that operates beneath the surface of conscious thought, inviting you to engage with life in a deeper, more soulful way. The anima within you serves as a bridge between the conscious mind and the rich, often mysterious realm of the unconscious. It beckons you to explore the depths of your emotional world, to honor the rhythms and cycles that govern your inner life, and to develop a more nuanced understanding of your relational patterns and desires. Through this connection, you cultivate a fertile ground for healing, insight, and authentic self-expression. Have you noticed moments when intuition guides you more clearly than logic? When a quiet inner knowing seems to illuminate a path forward despite uncertainty. These are whispers of the anima, inviting you to trust the emotional and intuitive wisdom that flows from your depths. You are connected to your feminine wisdom whenever you pause to honor these subtle promptings, especially when they challenge ingrained patterns of thought or cultural expectations. The anima's influence also manifests in the creative impulse, the drive to bring forth new ideas, forms, and expressions that resonate with your inner truth. This creative energy is not limited to artistic endeavors but permeates all acts of imaginative engagement, problem-solving, and relationship building. Embracing the feminine principle thus enriches your capacity to innovate and adapt, fostering a sense of aliveness and possibility. Reflecting on Jung's insights, it becomes clear that the integration of the anima is not a passive acceptance but an active, ongoing dialogue with the feminine dimension of your psyche. This dialogue requires patience, openness, and a willingness to encounter both light and shadow without resistance. Transformation begins when you allow yourself to be vulnerable, open, and curious, qualities that the anima nurtures within you. As you cultivate this relationship, you may find that your emotional life gains new depth and clarity. Feelings that once seemed overwhelming or confusing become intelligible and meaningful, revealing patterns and messages that guide your personal growth. The anima within you acts as a compassionate companion, offering guidance that transcends the superficial layers of everyday consciousness. This process also illuminates the limitations of a purely masculine or rational approach to life. While logic and structure are indispensable, they alone cannot encompass the full spectrum of human experience. The anima reminds you that emotional intelligence, empathy, and receptivity are equally vital for psychological balance and fulfillment. You are connected to your feminine wisdom when you embrace these qualities as strengths rather than weaknesses. Have you considered how societal norms might have influenced your relationship with the feminine within? Many have been conditioned to suppress or mistrust these inner qualities, leading to a fragmented sense of self. Yet, by courageously reclaiming the anima, you begin to dissolve these internal barriers, moving toward a more integrated and authentic selfhood. The power of feminine archetypes lies not only in their symbolic resonance but also in their capacity to activate transformative processes within your psyche. They serve as living symbols that awaken latent potentials and invite you to embody a fuller range of human experience. By engaging with these archetypes, you step into a lineage of wisdom that honors the cyclical, relational, and creative dimensions of life. In this light, feminine wisdom emerges as a profound source of inner guidance, one that supports healing, creativity, and emotional richness. It is a call to embrace the fullness of your being, both light and shadow, strength and vulnerability, and to recognize the sacred feminine as an integral part of your psychological landscape. You are connected to your feminine wisdom through this ongoing invitation to listen, learn, and grow from the anima's presence within. Transformation begins when you acknowledge the anima not as an abstract concept but as a living, breathing aspect of your inner world. This recognition marks the first step in a deeply personal journey toward wholeness, where suppressed parts are welcomed, and the psyche moves toward balance and harmony. The anima's voice, once silenced or ignored, becomes a vital source of insight and creativity, guiding you toward a more expansive and compassionate self-understanding. As you reflect on these ideas, consider how the feminine dimension within you might be calling for attention. How does it manifest in your dreams, your emotional responses, or your creative impulses? What fears or resistances arise when you contemplate opening to this inner presence? These questions serve as gentle invitations to deepen your engagement with the anima and the feminine wisdom that flows from it. In embracing the anima, you participate in a timeless psychological dance, one that honors the interplay of opposites and the necessity of integration. This dance is not always easy, as it challenges ingrained beliefs and habits, but it holds the promise of profound renewal and self-discovery. You are connected to your feminine wisdom when you dare to enter this sacred space of inner exploration, trusting that transformation unfolds in its own time and rhythm. Have you ever noticed how the anima's presence can soften rigid patterns of thought and behavior, opening you to new perspectives and emotional depths? This softening is not a surrender but a strengthening, a deepening of your capacity to engage with life's complexities with grace and resilience. Feminine wisdom, therefore, is not a retreat from power but a redefinition of what true power entails, the power to feel, to create, and to connect authentically. You are connected to your feminine wisdom, and through this connection, you begin to weave a richer, more textured tapestry of selfhood, one that honors the fullness of your inner landscape and invites continual growth. The anima within you is a sacred guide, a source of healing and inspiration, and a doorway to the profound mysteries of your own soul. As you continue to walk the path illuminated by the anima, you enter the sacred process Jung called individuation, a journey toward wholeness that beckons you to harmonize the masculine and feminine elements within your psyche. This path is not a linear progression but a spiral movement inward, where each encounter with your inner feminine deepens self-knowledge and enriches your emotional landscape. The anima acts as a vital mediator in this dance, inviting you to listen beyond the surface and engage with the profound wisdom that resides in the depths of your being. Individuation requires a delicate balance. It calls for the integration of opposites, the weaving together of logic and feeling, action and receptivity, strength and vulnerability. The feminine principle, as embodied by the anima, is not merely passive or reactive, it is an active force that fosters emotional richness and intuitive insight. You are connected to your feminine wisdom most fully when you allow this inner dialogue to unfold without resistance, embracing the complexities and paradoxes that emerge. To access this inner feminine realm, Jungian psychology offers powerful tools that invite conversation with the unconscious. Dream work, for instance, serves as a gateway where the anima often reveals herself through symbols, narratives, and emotions that carry messages for your conscious life. By attending to your dreams with openness and curiosity, you cultivate a language of the soul that transcends rational thought. Dreams become a sacred space where feminine energies speak in metaphor and image, guiding you toward healing and transformation. Similarly, the practice of active imagination enables you to engage consciously with the anima's presence. This technique encourages a creative dialogue, whether through writing, visual art, or inner visualization, where you give voice to the feminine figures and feelings that arise from the unconscious. Active imagination is an invitation to step beyond passive observation and enter a co-creative relationship with your inner world. Through this engagement, the anima's wisdom becomes more accessible, offering insights that can reshape your understanding of self and other. Alongside these techniques, cultivating mindfulness and emotional awareness provides a fertile ground for feminine wisdom to flourish. When you attend mindfully to your feelings and bodily sensations, you create a receptive space where the anima's subtle guidance can emerge. Emotional awareness is not about suppressing or controlling feelings but about embracing them with compassion and curiosity. This mindful presence nurtures a deeper connection to your inner feminine, allowing its wisdom to permeate your daily experience. Balancing masculine and feminine energies within yourself is essential for psychological health and life fulfillment. Often, societal norms privilege masculine qualities, assertiveness, rationality, independence, while undervaluing the feminine traits of empathy, intuition, and relational attunement. Yet, true integration invites you to transcend these limiting dichotomies, recognizing that both energies reside within everyone, regardless of gender. You are connected to your feminine wisdom when you honor these qualities as complementary forces that enrich your inner and outer world. This balance challenges cultural narratives that diminish the feminine or cast it as weaker or secondary. Instead, it invites a more expansive understanding of power, one that includes emotional resilience, creative adaptability, and the capacity to nurture both self and others. By embracing this integrated self, you move toward a more authentic and grounded presence in the world, one that reflects the fullness of your humanity. In practical terms, cultivating feminine wisdom in daily life involves ongoing reflection and creative expression. Engage with your inner world regularly through journaling, art, or contemplative practices that invite you to explore feelings and images connected to the anima. These moments of introspection are not mere escapes but vital acts of self-care and growth, allowing the feminine principle to weave itself into the fabric of everyday experience. Mindful emotional engagement also means learning to attune to others with empathy and openness, recognizing the shared humanity that connects us all. Feminine wisdom is inherently relational, inviting you to move beyond isolation and foster deeper, more compassionate interactions. This relational quality does not imply dependence but reflects a balanced interdependence that honors both autonomy and connection. Remember, this integration is not a fixed destination but an evolving journey, a continuous unfolding where new facets of the anima and feminine archetypes emerge over time. Transformation begins when you accept this fluidity and remain patient with yourself as you navigate the complexities of inner work. The feminine wisdom within you is alive and dynamic, always inviting fresh exploration and engagement. You may find that as you deepen this practice, your life gains a new texture of meaning and fulfillment. Emotional challenges become opportunities for insight rather than sources of overwhelm, and creative impulses flow more freely, enriching your personal and professional endeavors. The anima's guidance leads you toward a more integrated and harmonious way of being, where masculine and feminine energies support rather than oppose each other. Have you noticed how embracing your emotional world can open doors to creativity and problem-solving that were previously hidden? This is the feminine principle at work, transforming vulnerability into strength and receptivity into action. By honoring this process, you cultivate a richer internal dialogue and a more nuanced understanding of your motivations and desires. As you continue to engage with the anima, you also participate in a broader cultural shift, one that values feminine wisdom not only within the individual psyche but as a vital force in society. This shift challenges entrenched hierarchies and invites a reimagining of leadership, community, and well-being that integrates compassion, creativity, and relational intelligence. In this way, your personal journey toward feminine integration becomes part of a collective movement toward balance and healing. You are connected to your feminine wisdom not only for your own transformation but as a contributor to the greater whole, embodying the archetypal feminine energies that nurture life, inspire innovation, and sustain connection. Transformation begins with these small, intentional steps of inner work, listening to your dreams, practicing active imagination, cultivating emotional awareness, and embracing the dance of masculine and feminine energies within. Each act of engagement deepens your relationship with the anima, inviting a fuller expression of your authentic self. Have you considered how you might integrate these practices into your daily routine? Even brief moments of reflection or creative exploration can open pathways to feminine wisdom, making the intangible more tangible and the unconscious more conscious. This ongoing commitment is a gentle yet profound form of self-honoring, affirming your capacity for growth and healing. The anima's presence within you is a reminder that transformation is not a solitary endeavor but a relational process, an inner dialogue that mirrors and enriches your relationships with others. By cultivating this inner feminine, you develop greater empathy, patience, and insight, qualities that ripple outward to touch your community and environment. In embracing the feminine within, you are nurturing a sacred space of potential and renewal. This space holds the promise of emotional richness, creative vitality, and spiritual depth, inviting you to step more fully into your wholeness. You are connected to your feminine wisdom, and through this connection, you move toward a life marked by balance, authenticity, and profound transformation.